So another question that is associated with this phenomenon is that, like I mentioned earlier, that like soulmate or like platonic relationships are likely to be more lasting because it is sort of like connected with what we may refer to as the core structure in yourself, who you are, your worldviews, your values, and all that. So it is likely that such relationship would last for a longer time. And when we say that, then there's an interesting dimension of relationship that I want to bring up. That is the idea of like being together for a long time. And I want to raise this like very unusual view that I have espoused for over 4 decades now. This is the idea that like when people want to share their life together, they may not necessarily want to be living together. Some people would find this like even difficult to imagine. But now we have a term for it, right? In English, like we call this like living apart together. So what does it mean? It means that like two individuals are connected to each other, very often in a very deep and profound sense, but they have chosen to not live in the same apartment or the same house. So why do people do that? So I want to point out one very interesting dynamic in intimate relationship. That is like the dynamic between what I call happenings and routine. So routine is like when something becomes repetitive. I'll give you a simple example. You're dating someone, like in the first year, like you have like birthdays, maybe like you celebrate, and like both of you can be very excited. But if you've been like celebrating anniversaries and birthdays like over and over and over, there is a risk. I do not say that it happens invariably, but I would say in the vast majority of cases, you will be experiencing less excitement, and the practice becomes a routine. And once it has become a routine, it has less stimulation value, less exciting, less fun, and then it can become an obligation or even a chore that you just feel that you're obliged to do something, right? Because it is like this person's birthday or like Valentine's Day, which I totally do not support, and or like it is our anniversary. So the routinization basically takes the excitement out of it. But can people be like repeating the same ritualistic performance or repetition of the same thing over many years and still find joy, excitement, and fun in it? I would say yes, it is possible, but it probably belongs to the minority rather than the majority of cases. So the opposite concept, right, of this, of routinization, is happening. So what is a happening? A happening is something that you do not expect. It is something that you may not even plan for, right? It just happened, right? But of course, like in relationships, if you create happenings or you allow things to happen or you do things that are not routine, it will happen. So let me give you an example. Like if you're living in the same house, right? You wake up together and have breakfast together, and then like breakfast would become a routine. But if you're not living together and you're not making any assumption that you're going to have breakfast every morning or dinner every night for the same matter, and each time when you want to do it, it is a special event. You only do it because you want to do it. It's not because it is expected to happen, not because it's like a routine that has been going on for a long time. Then, right, each of these happenings is potentially more likely to bring gratification, joy, fulfillment, and it is also more likely to lead to more creative activities that you can pursue together, right? So even if you're soulmates, right, and you tend to say, for example, like read books together or go to the cinema together, I would still recommend that like you do not turn it into routine. So I do not think that you should go to the cinema every time with your partner. I think you should allow yourself, right, to have like alternatives, like either go to the cinema with someone else or do something different with your partner. So routinization can be a threat to quality of relationship. But again, I emphasize because of the huge individual differences that we have, some people may actually prefer that. Some people may actually enjoy routine, and some relationship can actually thrive with like a lot of like well-established routines. So I'm not saying that it is not like always a bad thing, and you always need to have like happenings. Like you have to understand who you are, what your own preferences are, and you should probably negotiate the best arrangement between yourself and your partner.